and you can take your mask off. You guys are good to go?
Hey, Julian, good to see you. Talk about your transformation from when you came to Illinois as a defensive lineman, now that you're an offensive lineman. What was that transformation like for you in gaining the weight and moving on sides of the ball?
Yeah, it was a change that I knew had to happen because when I first came here, I was like 235. Now I'm 310. So, I remember Coach Clark telling me if I ever wanted to play, I had to like gain weight. So I just knew I had to put the weight on, had to keep working in the weight room, get bigger. And then also the older guys, Palcho, Badarian, all of them helped out a lot. Jordan Slaughter helped out a lot. And then being with Vertus to my left helped out a lot. So
now I know that you guys in practice get your fair share of reps where they switch you guys in and out. But this week, obviously you've been taking first team reps with the offense. Just what's that been like? Different, stepping in for Alex last week when he went down.
All right. So usually it is what we do. But not a lot has changed. Like we prepare ourselves, the ones and twos, for anything to happen. So a couple weeks ago, some guys got COVID, and they just put the emphasis on like this is college football. You got to be ready at all times.
Thanks, Julian. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Julian, hope you're well, man. Just what was it like to play 77 reps and to play that much at the college level?
It was crazy. I remember Caleb talking about like he hasn't taken this many reps. Caleb, my guy from Danville, like since high school, and like honestly, it just felt crazy to be out there. I'm thinking like I just felt like I was in high school again, like taking snaps that were meaningful. It felt good to contribute.
I know you were focused on basketball for a while in prep career. What did you think about playing offensive line, defensive line in college as a high school?
Yeah. Well, when I finally came to the conclusion that basketball probably was not going to work out for me, I had just bought in and just said bought into being a team player, team guy, just be like, wherever they need me at, wherever they could use me, I'm going to go and I'm going to give my best effort to it. So.
And Lovey said, you were 235, you said, he said he kind of bought into you being able to gain weight because your brother, I know he was a big guy, your dad's a big guy. Did you think you could get to that weight because of those guys?
Nah, I couldn't see it until it happened, honestly. Like, I'm looking at myself. Like, just the last week, I was looking at a high school picture of me, and I was like, my forearm looked like my bicep. In high school, I was like, this is not, like, it's crazy. But now I'm kind of, like, getting a little bigger, so it's just interesting to see.
How do you move with it? I mean, how's it feel on you?
That's actually the most surprising part. So, like, at first I was like, I'm going to be super slow at 3 whatever, but I've managed to keep a lot of the speed that I had before. So that's great.
Thanks, Julian.
No problem.
Julian, as far as you talked about putting on weight, it was a big factor for you in making that transition. But as far as actual gameplay goes, was there any significant learning barriers or hurdles you had to overcome in transitioning from D-line to O-line?
Yeah, there was a lot. So for D-line, I feel like it's more about knowing your job, knowing what you have to do. So like your direct assignment. So like, for instance, if I'm a D-end and I have to stick this play, that's what I have to do. But at tackle, we have to read the whole defensive scheme, really. So like now I've learned to read the safety, the far, like do all my reads, communicate with the rest of my linemen, because everything that I see affects everybody else on the line too. So I feel like that's important.
And you mentioned Caleb. He's spoken with us before about, how long he had been off the field and, how it impacts you. I mean, what was that like for you? I know you're still practicing, obviously, and you had a few reps as a freshman, but, going from what you had to what happened last week, I mean, what is that like for you as an athlete?
Yeah, it's definitely a new feeling or a newer feeling at this level. So it's something that you have to be ready for, honestly. You hate to for that to have to happen like that, but you just got to be ready. Got to stay ready.
Thanks, Julian.
No problem.
Julian, so played basketball obviously in high school. At what point did you kind of realize like, yeah, this might not be the road for me? Maybe football is my best path. Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I remember. I remember it was like when I was first getting like mail, and I just was realizing I'm getting all this mail from football teams, and I'm like, now one basketball letter, so maybe I should probably direct my energy towards football.
Was that hard to do? I mean, was it something that was, you know, fairly easy decision for you?
It was definitely an easy decision because, I mean, I do love basketball, but I understood at the time, like, that's not going to take me where I want to be.
So you've got a couple older siblings, is that right? Like,
Right.
both of them, two brothers, they both play college sports?
Two brothers, they both went D3 to Augustana. One played basketball, one played football.
So what was competitively, what was it like growing up with older brothers and, you know, both played different sports in college? What was that like for you?
So every summer, really, single mother, every summer I would stay with my brothers and we would go through football and basketball camps. So in the mornings, we'd be like 6 a.m. football camp. After that, it'd be the basketball camp. We get home at like 5 p.m. And this was like every weekday during the summers until they graduated. So it was just, I was always around it, always learning from it, always had a love for like every sport, really.
But I mean, I'm assuming how much older are they?
So my oldest brother is 7 years older. The other one is 4 years older.
So it's not like there's only a couple of years, like they were probably significantly bigger and more athletic. What was that like for you to try to keep up?
It's funny actually, like a lot of like roughhousing, you know, they used to do that to me a lot. But I think it kind of helped me. It helped me out, like just to have more of an edge to me. You know what I'm saying?
And my last thing is, what's the key to putting on all that weight? What are some of the meals? How do you do it?
You got to eat. That's it. That's it. And you got to make sure that you don't get like too much unhealthy stuff into your diet. You know, so like you're gonna be putting on weight, but the nutrition team is like they're on you a lot, on you about just like putting in the good fats, staying in the weight room. Those guys are on you too. You just got to grind for it.
So you and Lou probably have spent quite a bit of time together, or you and the strength staff?
Both strength staff. So even the transition, Coach Lou is my guy. Ferranto, that's my guy too, John Ferranto.
Thank you, Julian.
Julian, what were the specifics of did you have a calorie diet when you went from D-line to O-line and you had to add like, you know, in 6 months you needed to add 40, 50 pounds? Were you on some kind of massive calorie diet at the time? So
what happened was when I first came here, I was obviously small for a 6. I think the guy ahead of me, Bobby Roundtree, was like upwards of 260. So I already had to gain weight. So on my track to gain weight, it was just becoming easier to move people. So Coach Clark, when he was here at the time, he was like, you can't play at 35. You got to get up. So I was up to like 55, 60 already. And then he's like, yeah, this is looking good. And then I think at that time, it was like the end of the season into break. And they were like, keep gaining. So they had me on that diet. It wasn't really an exact diet. It was more of like a red diet. So I could eat more like chicken or more, you know what I'm saying? Like that. But then I continued to gain weight off of that. And then they were talking about moving me, like my position. But then I was like, they're probably going to move me to 3-tech or something. Then I got brought into Coach Smith's office and I ended up going to the O-line. And it's been the best move for me, honestly.
And did you ever get to the point of like, this is too much food? Like I just can't put this much away in one day, or be okay with the packing it on?
No, I can eat. I was okay with eating. That's one thing about it. Made it easy.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
Hey, Julian, I'm wondering, heading into this week, is there a difference for you knowing that you're probably going to get in the game again as opposed to maybe just being thrown in there on a whim?
Yeah, I feel you. So the difference for me, like primarily, is just like my mindset. You know, I'm looking more at like how locked in I have to be. We're already all locked in because we all like are striving to achieve our goal together. But now I'm like thinking more of, okay, this is actually like, I'm gonna see these things early on. If like, no matter what happens, just gotta be ready or like stay on edge kind of.
What did you like about maybe what you were able to show on Saturday?
During the game, I just kept thinking about how I got to do better. Like, I got big shoes to fill at the moment. Like, I got to step it up. I'm thinking, like, I know the guys ahead of me, like, they don't have trouble like this, so I just got to play better, got to play to their level.
And how did your teammates support you through all this? I know you guys are a pretty tight-knit group. So did they, help you out, give you any advice or anything like that?
So even when Palcho first went out, he was like, as soon as he could, came back to me, came like talking in my ear, telling me what I should be looking for, what I should be ready for. And that helps. A lot of the other guys on the line already, they were just like holding me accountable, like they weren't trying to like coddle me, nothing like that. And they were just like, like, you have to do this. Like, there's nobody cares that this is like your first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that works best with me. Just hold me accountable for what I did, because I made some mistakes and they helped me get back on track by just owning up to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Julian, I had one follow-up. What do you think this experience, now means for you for long term, especially with such a veteran offensive line in front of you?
Not really sure, honestly. Just taking it week by week, day by day, just being ready for whatever is coming.
Thanks, man.
No problem. All right.
Thanks, Julian.
No problem.